Hey guys, and welcome back to our channel. In today's video, I'm going to be filming this natural everyday makeup look. I asked you guys on Instagram if you wanted to see an everyday look or a creative look, and this one won by a few points. This look is perfect for when I just want to go out and run errands or when I don't know what to do with my makeup, I go to. So if you guys want to see my steps, then just go ahead and keep on watching. Okay, so I already have my face primed with coconut oil. Like I have my moisturizers on and everything. Now I'm just going to go ahead and prime my skin. I like to use a pore filling primer right here in this area just because I do get creases and I might have larger pores here as well as right here. I'll use the pore filling primer, which right now I'm currently using the Tatcha Silk Canvas, I believe it's called. And then for the rest of my face, I'll use the Benefit the Professional Matte Rescue. This is just really good. Like, I don't have oily skin, but I do, if I sweat, the first place I sweat is around my mouth. So that's where I will be placing my primers. I just grab a very small dime size amount and then I'll put it on. And if you guys see me looking here a lot, it's because I have my monitor there so I could see what I'm doing. And then I'll put a little, actually I will do put a little of the Tatcha one right here just because I do have those lines from making facial expressions. So that's that. And then when I'm done with the pore filling, I'll take the matte rescue and I'll put it basically everywhere else. And like I said, on my upper lip and my chin. And I like to rub it in when it gets to my cheeks, right here. And then I'll pat it right here just because I already put the pore filling primer and I don't want to take that off. I will spray my face with a little bit of Fix Plus primer as well, the Prep and Prime from MAC, and I will go ahead and smooth it in with a damp beauty blender as well, just so my skin is hydrated and ready for foundation. Okay, and then I like to, if I have any blemishes on my face, I will go ahead and cover up with a little bit of concealer. That is my skin tone, so it doesn't highlight the blemish at all. So I'll take a little bit of my Maybelline Fit Me in the shade Light. And I have just a few blemishes right here, two right there, and I have a little bit of redness on my cheeks and around my nose. So that's where I'll go ahead and conceal. I also like to let it sit there for a second because I feel like if I go straight in with my beauty blender or a brush and start blending it out, it does take away from it does take some coverage away, so I'll let it sit there for a second and then I'll go ahead and blend it in. When I blend it in, I like to go ahead and start off with a brush and then I'll go ahead and use my beauty blender just to smooth out any harsh lines. So the brush I'm using is a Tarte brush. Excuse me, it's very dirty, I haven't cleaned it, but it's a Tarte brush. I got it from Holiday maybe like a year or two ago, but this is a really, really good brush. It's kind of like a dupe for the, I think it's the F80 by Sigma, but it's a really good brush. I highly recommend it. And I'll spray it with a little bit of Fix Plus just so it's not so dry. And then I'll just go in and start circular motion. And then, like I said, I'll take my beauty blender and go ahead and smooth out all the harsh lines. See, it's not completely covered, but I mean, it does help out with some of the redness, but when I go ahead and go in with my foundation, it'll cover. Okay, so after that is complete, I like to go ahead and go back to my eyebrows. I like to do my eyebrows first. I don't know why, that's just the way I like to do it. And I'll go ahead and I'll take a spoolie. And I'm just going to take the spoolie from my Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil and brush my brows upward. So then once they're brushed upward, I like to go ahead and take a concealer brush. And I don't know the name of this one. It's rubbed off. I've used it so much, but it is by Anastasia Beverly Hills. And I like to take the Anastasia Beverly Hills, I think they're called the full coverage concealer. I like to take it, and this is how it looks. I actually have a sample of it. It's not the actual jar it comes in, but this is the color I use, and it's in 0.5. And I just like to take a little bit of it and put it on the back of my hand. So I'll scoop out about, I can't really see how much it is, but I'll scoop out some, put it on the back of my hand, and then just go with that, go from there and use what I have. I like to underline my eyebrows because my eyebrows are pretty thick. I don't really need to do a lot of filling in. I just have a little sparse, a few sparse areas. I do have a scar on one of my eyebrows that left me with a little bald spot. So I will take the concealer and underline, and then I'll go ahead and fill in afterward. So let's do that first. I like to start off in the front of my eyebrow, and then I'll work my way to the end. And I like to also get as close to the hair, as close to the hairs as possible. And then once my eyebrow is underlined just like that, I like to take the concealer and the concealer brush and just bring it down to my eyelid, because I also can use this concealer as an eyeshadow primer or when I go in with eyeshadow. And this is a thick concealer, so if you want to use something a little thinner, or even a darker color to match your eyelid or your skin tone, you could do that. I just like to use the thick concealer because it gives me the very nice line, and I like to use the light color because it gives me a highlighted underbrow, I guess you could say. And then I'll go ahead and just grab whatever's left on my hand and start putting it on my eyelid. And then once I have the whole eyelid covered, I like to go ahead and take this Urban Decay brush, and it is the Domed Concealer F112, and it looks just like this. I like to take it and just blend out this line so I don't look crazy. I'll blend out around my nose, and then I'll also blend this out just a bit. It will cover it up. It does get covered up with foundation, so it doesn't really matter. And then I'll go ahead and do my other eye. Now what I'm doing is I'm just taking my spoolie and I'm brushing out just the tips, or the front ends of my eyebrows, just so there's not a harsh concealer line and my eyebrows don't look like super boxy or matte eyebrows. And when I'm done with that, I will take my beauty blender next, just to go ahead and soften up the concealer that we put on the lid, just to make sure that it's not creased and it's prepped and primed and ready to go for eyeshadow. So after the eyebrows are complete, we have a clean and smooth base for our eyeshadow. I'm going to take, usually I'll just use my my bronzer, and the bronzer that I have is the Rimmel bronzer, the Sunny in Sunlight, or I'll use like the Smashbox kit that I always use. I'll use whatever bronzer I'm using, I'll just pop that in my lid. But I also do have the Jaclyn Hill palette with me, so I think that's what I'm going to use right now. I'll just grab a fluffy brush. This is the Smashbox number 10 brush. Looks like that. It's very fluffy. And I'll just grab like a neutral brown color, pop that in my crease, and that's all. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and use the shade, a little bit of Pukey, and I think it's Pooter. So this color right here, Pukey, and the one right next to it, which is Pooter. And don't mind my palette, it's been through a lot. So I'm just gonna dab it in twice in each shade and then dust off some of the color and just pop it into my crease. Okay, so now that the color's on, it's not fully blended. I do like this brush for blending, but I also like the MAC 217 or 224. Excuse me, the MAC 224. It's just another fluffy brush to blend out. So that's what I'll do. I'll just take the brush and start blending underneath my eyebrow to get rid of that um, harsh color, and then I'll do that. I like to bring it all the way up to my brow bone just so it has like that smooth blend. And I'm actually going to grab a little bit more of the shade Pukey and just go in with it because I like that color a lot. It's a very warm tone. So I'll just put it right here at the end and then blend up. I like to blend it almost into my eyebrow just so it looks seamless. It doesn't look like there's any harsh lines, and it also blends out that harsh concealer line that we have under the brow. So I like that a lot. And if it gets on my eyelid, I just bring it down, but I don't add any on my eyelid, but it will, as I'm blending, obviously it'll get down there. So just like that. After that, I will go ahead and grab a mascara just so I can go ahead and prep for my lashes. The mascara I'm using is the Tarte Lights Camera Lashes. I'm obsessed with this mascara. It's a really good mascara and it gets your lashes fully coated. So I'm just gonna go ahead and apply a few applications of mascara, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put on some false lashes. The two that I go between are either the Dummy Wispies. These are the Dummy Wispies by Ardell. They're very fluffy and pretty. The difference between these ones and the regular wispies is that these ones are shorter in the front and then they kind of flare out at the end, which I personally like. If I want a little longer on the front, I'll go ahead and just pop up some mascara on there. But those ones, I love those ones. And then I also use the regular wispies as well. These ones are just wispy all around. But they're not, I find that they're not as long as those ones, which is kind of weird. These ones look a lot longer, but I like to go between both. Today I am going to go in with my Dummy Wispies, and the lash glue I'm going to be using is the Duo. I go back and forth between the Duo, the Kiss glue. I go back and forth between a few, but as for right now, I'm going to go ahead and use this one. Okay, so what I did already was I went ahead and put a little bit of lash glue on just whatever you have. I'm using this contouring kit. And then I'm going to take my tweezers and I'm going to grab a little bit of it and put it on the back of my tweezers. Just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and line the rim of the lashes. And once I line them, I like to let them sit for a little bit just so the glue gets tacky. I already did one lash off camera and now I'm going to apply my second lash. I just like to grab the lash from the tweezers and I'll place it into the middle of my eyelid of my lash line, and then I'll go ahead and wiggle it. Place the end first and then I'll wiggle it down. So once I feel like it's dried enough, I'll go ahead and pinch my lashes and my natural lashes together, just so we don't have that crazy separation between the two, and also so the glue sticks onto the lid a little bit more. And then I will go ahead and take a little bit of mascara and just put it onto the tops of the lashes just to get a little bit more length. So once the lashes are on, I'm going to go ahead and start with my face. So I already have it primed and prepped like you saw. I'm just going to go ahead and take a beauty blender again and press it all in. Make sure everything's ready and hydrated. And I like to go in with the full coverage foundation. Some days I will switch between different foundations that I have. But as of right now, you guys seen in my last video in my vlog that I picked up the Revolution Conceal and Define. Mine is in the color F5 and I've used it twice already and I got so many compliments on how good my skin looked. And I like it. The shade is a bit off. Like I feel like between this color and F4, there should have been a shade in between, but I made it work. I did blend it all the way down my neck and it looked good in sunlight, pictures, and everything else. So we'll go ahead and put it on and hopefully it doesn't look scary on camera, but I promise in person it matches. And I'm just gonna take it from the applicator. The applicator looks like that. And I'm just gonna dot it on my skin. What I also like too is that the stopper is pretty big in there so it doesn't pull out so much foundation, because it's better to put foundation on. You can't take it off once you have it on your face. You can add more, but it's a lot harder to remove it. So I'm just putting it everywhere. I like to put very little foundation on my nose, so I'll just put a few dots like that and then I'll go back into my forehead last. So like I said, I'm going to take this Tarte brush, the one that I used for my concealer earlier, a bit of MAC Prep and Prime Fix Plus, and I'm going to blend it out like that, and then I'll go back in with my beauty blender. Now I'm going to go ahead and take my damp beauty blender and I'm going to go ahead and smooth everything out. Make sure there's no harsh lines and make sure if there is excess foundation, it picks up a little bit of it. I barely like to put foundation on my nose. If I have too much, it will break up and look gross around my nose. And also I have a lot of freckles and I don't like to cover them too much. So I think it looks perfect on my nose. I'm just blending it all in, making sure that everything looks seamless. There's no lines. And if you need to add a little bit more coverage in any areas, go ahead and do that. I think right now it looks fine on me. And then I'll take a little bit more and put it on my forehead. Just a little bit, honestly, because my forehead is very dry and I don't want to accentuate it with more foundation. I'm not going to go ahead and take the brush and blend it out. I just like to use my beauty blender because I don't want so much product on my forehead. Okay, and then I'll take my concealer. I have two favorite concealers at the moment. Obviously, number one, hands down, Shape Tape. Not really much I could say about it besides its full coverage. I do get the lightest shade that it comes in, which is fair. I like the very bright under eye. And then I also have been loving the Born This Way multi-use sculpting concealer. This one is just like the Shape Tape, but not as thick and not as drying, I find. So up to you. You can choose what you like. Some days I'll use that one, some days I'll use this one. But today I'm going to go ahead and go in with the Born This Way by Too Faced. And I just go ahead and place it underneath my eyes. I'll put it on the sides of my nose too, just so I can get that contour from my nose. Just like that. And then I'll go ahead and do the other side as well. Then I'll go ahead and just take my beauty blender again and blend it in. But I like to let it sit first, just for a second, because if I find that when I take the beauty blender and go straight in with it, it does lose some coverage. So if I let it sit for a second, it gets a little dry, then it won't take away from the coverage when I go in with my beauty blender. Okay, so once the concealer is fully blended out, I will go ahead and take my damp beauty blender, dip it in my Maybelline. I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder in the shade 05, and I'll go ahead and bake underneath my eyes with it. So I'll just go like this. On the sides of my nose too. I like to set my crease lines, my smile lines, because that's where I tend to crease. And then I'll do it to the same side over here. I'll also take it onto my chin. Then I'll let it sit there for a few seconds, and I'll go ahead and take my Laura Geller Baked and Balanced Brightening Foundation in the shade Medium. And I'll take a powder brush. This is a powder brush by Bliss. And I'll just go ahead and put it everywhere else that I didn't bake. So I'll take my Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. I'll spray my beauty blender with it. And then I'll go ahead and set my powder. I don't like to wipe it away because I feel like it moves my makeup. I'll just do this technique and then melt it into the skin. Once I am finished with that, everything is melted all into the skin. I will go ahead and add some contouring and color back onto my face. I'm using my Smashbox highlighting and contour palette, and I'm going to be using a mixture of both of these colors. And I'll just go ahead and put that into the hollows of my cheekbones. I'll take the same brush, no product added, and I'll go ahead and bring it down the sides of my nose too. To get a little bit more brightness underneath the eyes, I will take the light color, the highlighting color in here with a Morphe M438 brush and go ahead and apply a little bit more brightness underneath the eyes. Next, I have my Milani Luminoso blush just to add a little bit more color and sparkle to my cheeks. I'll take the same Anastasia brush and take very, very little and put it onto the center of my cheekbones or my cheeks. Before I like to add my highlight, I will go back to my lower lash line and put a little bit more color there. I'll take my Morphe M432 brush and I'll just take the bronzer I was using. I'm going to take the orange shade in the Smashbox palette I was using and just put it in the lower lash line. And I do like to take the NYX Wonder Pencil, and this is in the shade Light, and I will line my inner waterline just so my eyes look more awake and bigger. Then I'm going to go ahead and go back to my eyebrows. I'm not going to go ahead and fill in any sparse areas like I thought I was going to. I'm just going to go ahead and set them and fluff the brows up a little bit more with my Benefit Ready Set Brow. Just going to bring them up like so. And then make sure that they are not too much onto my forehead. I just like to make sure they're standing up and not falling down. Just like that. Okay, so now I will go in with my highlighter. I'm going to go ahead and take my Ofra Cosmetics Beverly Hills highlight, and I'm going to mix all the colors and just put it on my cheekbones. And with that, I'm going to use my Smashbox fan brush. So I'm just going to mix it around in there and place it right on my cheekbone. And then I'll go into the lighter colors, which is this champagne color and this white color. And I like to put that on the tip of my nose and the bridge of my nose. I like to even use my finger. I'll dip it in and just tap it on there and then get my brush and blend it. Same with my Cupid's bow. I like to use my finger, apply it heavily, and then blend it out with my brush. I will also take another tiny brush like this, and I'll go into the lightest two shades one more time and put that in my inner corner of my eye. Once that is complete, I'll go ahead and I will do my bottom lashes. I like to use a spoolie first to go ahead and comb through them, and then I'll go in with my mascara and coat them a few times. Okay, so I'm pretty much done with my face. Now I'm going to go on to my lips, and this will be the final step. So I'm going to be using my NYX Suede Matte Lip Liner in the shade Sandstorm. It's just a neutral shade. I'm going to go ahead and line my lips. I do like to overline just a little bit as well. Once I have my lips lined, I will go ahead and take a lipstick. I like to use nude color lipsticks, nothing too drastic or crazy when I'm just doing an everyday makeup look. So in my last video where I did my makeup touch-up, you guys saw me use the Too Faced Naked Dolly. But today I'm going to use a MAC lipstick in the shade Really Me. It's just a matte finish. And it's more of a cool tone, but I just really like the color mixed with this lipstick. There's the color right there. I'm just going to put it all over my lips and then top it off with some gloss. So once I have my lips filled in with the lipstick, I'll go ahead and take my lip liner just one more time to blend them together. Next, I'm going to go ahead and take my Maybelline Vivid Hot Lacquer Color Sensational Lip Gloss in the shade Tease. This is the same one that I used in my makeup touch-up, which I posted in my vlog. I'm just going to take a little bit of it, put it on in the center of my lips, and then go ahead and blend it out with a brush. The brush that I blended out with is a Smashbox concealer brush, and I just blended into the lip liner and the lipstick. Once the lips are done, I go ahead and I take my setting spray. This is the Morphe one. I like to use this just to make sure my makeup stays in place all day and nothing creases or rubs off. Then I'll take my beauty blender and go ahead and melt everything in just to make sure there's no water spots or anything like that. Alright guys, and that completes my everyday go-to glam. Not much going on, just soft, neutral lip, neutral eyes, and very dewy and shiny skin. I hope you guys all enjoyed, and go ahead and leave any video suggestions in the comment box below and let me know what you guys thought. Thank you for watching.